Hello everyone, my name is Sark and welcome back to another Demoniacal Fit figure review. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Ultimate Atrocious, aka Goku Black, from Dragon Ball Super, or Super Dragon Ball Heroes. And honestly, quite excited about this guy. He is my second Demoniacal Fit figure, and I think he already looks good, even just by the promotional images that they have over here. This is not a Dragon Ball figure, just for any legal purposes. This is not Dragon Ball. Nothing Dragon Ball related. This is the Ultimate Atrocious figure from Demoniacal Fit, made in China. Just letting everyone know, this does not have any ties with Dragon Ball. Okay, let's get her out and see how he looks. Alright, so here we have the Ultimate Atrocious figure by the Demoniacal Fit, and I gotta say, he is looking pretty darn clean, just right out of the box, and I like it. So, this figure, it was available in 5K Toys. That is where I got it from. And honestly, not bad. I like it. I know Demoniacal Fit, you could probably find this on AliExpress and all that kind of stuff. That's where I got the father-son figures. So do be careful when purchasing anything from third-party sites. I do trust 5K Toys with a lot of the third-party figures, especially like this one. So do with that information, do what you will, whatever, that kind of stuff. So, in terms of aesthetic, I think he looks pretty darn cool. Now, this character design, not Goku Black, the masked Rosei Saiyan, not Saiyan, copyright, he did not have a figure or mold at all in the past. So, the Demoniacal Fit had to work off reference images for the most part. And his hair is not that pink, not that bleached out. It's like around there. So I think it's going to look better with this lighting. So aesthetic wise, he is pretty much just three colors: black, gray, and purple, with a little bit of white and yellow here and there. But it looks really nice. The frosty tips on the hair are an absolute perfect touch to the figure. I wish other companies would do that. They have done that actually, so they have been improving themselves. There's a little bit of shading on the legs, which is really nice, only in the front, which always sucks. I will say, in terms of proportions, this figure is super flat. Like, he's so skinny and flat. I don't get why, but I think it works for the most part. I think. So, moving on to the articulation for this figure, there's a couple of good things about this and a little bit of questionable things. So for the head, looking down, that's about as much range as you're going to get. You could probably push it down a little bit, but that's without breaking the figure itself, like I probably just did. So you don't want to break it right after you got it. So the reason for it is the whole sculpt of the figure. You can see here that you can't really move this. This whole hairpiece is going to block it. You could push it forward a little bit and get a little bit better range, but besides that, you're not going to get that. And this is a ball hinge peg, so that doesn't give you the most range. If they would have just cut out a section on the front piece right here, which I might do, who knows. Give me 1 second. Okay. I was able to fix the squeaking with this peg, with my trusty dandy, whatever shock oil that you can find in Amazon for like $7. It is very helpful for your figures. I used it for a bunch of them, especially this one, which had a super squeaky head joint. So it will help you out in the long run, especially for those figures that you don't want to break and are very frail. Sometimes they might have QC issues where the actual pegs are too tight. So that is just something to take into account. But going back to this figure, if they would have just made a cut right here to make it more accessible, you'd probably get a lot better range of articulation, which it does suck that it doesn't have, but for the most part, you're not gonna really use it, I guess, unless you're doing super dynamic poses. But this is a semi-older figure. I think it released earlier this year, so the restock was quite unexpected in my opinion. But moving on from there, he does have the other neck joint that doesn't really do anything. It doesn't necessarily move that much. You can get a pretty good T-pose with this figure, which is awesome. You can rotate the arms 360 degrees, no issue there. You have your bicep swivel, which is pretty darn good. It has a little bit of gappage here and there, but I don't have an issue with that. Double jointed elbow, which works perfectly fine. It's very flat, which is the same issue that the other Demoniacal Fit figures that I've reviewed had. And of course, you have your ball hinge, your wrist hinge over here. You can swivel it back and forth however you want. Now, before we actually get into the torso, because there's a couple of different things here, some, not many. The legs, they're the usual 2.0 legs that other companies use, Bandai. And of course, you're gonna get decent range from them. Not a perfect split, but it will do. Now, for the kicking motion, you can kick forward that far, backwards this much, and then with the knee, you have a double jointed knee. So you're gonna get a little bit of gaps. It's the usual mold for those type of figures. No thigh swivel, which sucks, and no boot swivel, which also sucks. The foot, you can't really move. Like, look at this. That's as far back as you can move it. As far forward as you can move it. The toe hinge is a little stuck for me, so might need a little bit of lubricant, but it can go forward that far. It can go up that far. So for the toes and the feet and the legs overall, the legs are fine. The feet, not really. They're super limited. But again, you're not really going to use that much motion in the legs or in the feet. Now, for the torso, a little bit of a weird thing that I noticed. Look at this. Look at the torso. He's very scrunched up. You can pull him up. So he has like a drop down leg situation where you can just bring him forward and then get a good amount of range with it, depending on how you use it. You're going to get one very small gap over here. This is very reminiscent of what Tamashii just did with their Tanjiro, where you can kind of like crunch him up and then extend them to get a little bit better range. And that's the same case with this figure. So honestly, not bad. I think in terms of posability, this guy is actually pretty good besides the feet and the head. So you're not going to get much range on the head, which does suck. Oh wait, yeah, butterfly joints. Butterfly joints, he has a pretty good range of motion with the butterfly joints. It's okay. Like, it's not the best, but it's okay. He has them there, so if you want to use those as well, you definitely can. Now, for accessories, this guy has some accessories that I'm actually quite surprised about. So let's take a look at those real quick. Alright, so in terms of accessories, he does come with quite a bit of them, and I actually like that. So, starting off with the different heads, we have the SSJ2 sort of hair sculpt. And again, it's not this washed out and in person. Let me get a better look like that. So it's going to look like this for the most part. The only reason it looks washed out is because of my lighting. So if I change it to here, it's going to look quite better. There we go. Much better. There. Okay, so you can get, it's pretty pink, and I like that. It still has the frosty tips. It has the bang of the Super Saiyan 2. And of course, we have a different face sculpt, which is just one. But in this instance, I don't actually mind. It's just one where he's looking to the side, which it's pretty menacing. And we do have a whole different base head sculpt that is just the usual quote-unquote Goku head sculpt, which is the base head right here, and it looks really nice. Now, you can switch the face sculpts with the Rose ones because they're the same pegs and everything. So if you wanted to have like a mid-transformation scene with him going Rose, you can, which is really nice. In terms of the hands, we have the basic amount of hands, a set of key blast hands, a set of posing hands, a set of extended, more relaxed hands, a set of grasping hands, and an additional extra hand for the keyblade that he uses throughout the series. So in terms of accessories, I think he actually has a decent amount. I don't think it's the most amount of accessories, but it's a sufficient amount. But now, leading towards my final thoughts, I think this figure is pretty nice. I'm actually quite happy to finally have him in my collection. He was something that I was very interested in when he originally came out earlier this year, I believe. So I had my eye on him for a while at this point. And I gotta say, I'm not actually mad as to what I got. I think he is actually a pretty reasonably valued figure at $45. That's from the price from 5K Toys. With shipping and taxes, I think it was around $55, I think, so not too horrible. So for a quote-unquote $55 figure, it's not bad. Could it be better? For sure, but it's a third-party company. So it kind of is a little bit less expensive than some figures from official companies. So realistically, I'm going to give this guy a 9 out of 10. The only reason I'm bringing down a couple of points is his lack of articulation for the head and the feet, and some sections here and there. I don't really have much issue with the articulation limitations for the feet, but the head does bring it down a lot, in my opinion, especially when you can't really pose him that well. But besides that, I think he's a pretty good figure to have in your collection, and I think it's a pretty good variant of a certain character that I, for legal reasons, can't mention, I believe. So, if you want them, you could try to find them through AliExpress. It did sell out quite quickly on 5K Toys after its announcement of restocks. So, yeah, good luck trying to finding this guy for a reasonable price. Now, I will tell you, there is a variation of this guy running around on 5K Toys as well, but it's the Beast Deities character. And I believe that figure itself is a slightly bigger version of this guy with a bit more, it's a bit more pricey. It's $62. It's like $20, almost $20 more than this figure. So, in my opinion, I don't think it's the best way to go. If you wanted to get a figure like this guy, I would say wait until they re-release him or they make a second batch announcement or another batch announcement. So, be on the lookout for it. I wouldn't suggest paying $62 plus shipping and taxes for a Beast Deities figure because it's a lot, especially for a figure that comes with actually less accessories than this one. It doesn't come with the base head, so it's not worth it. But yeah, that is all the time I have for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about this figure. Do you have it? Do you not have it? Are you a fan of third-party figures like these ones, where they just represent characters that are not necessarily well-known from the certain DB series that we all love and enjoy? But yeah, I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.